Hello, beautiful people. How you doing over there? Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Prime Media Studio, where we tell it the way it is out there. And it's just gonna be solo today. My able colleague is around, but I'm just gonna be solo. Okay. Today, yeah, of course, my name is Prosper Michael. um, Giving to you live here from Prime Media Studio. So today I'm going to give you tidbits on the from the dailies news across the nation. A lot of things happening here and there. Of course, bad news, good news. This is all the amazing news. So stay put as we hit the roads right now. So let's start with the news on the from Vanguard newspaper. Of course, it's celebration galore for our Muslim brother all over the world right now, celebrating Eid Fitr. We saw leaders from across the states, the President Muhammad Buhari, Tinubu, the president-elect, then Obi, the LP presidential candidates, the NLC, and others. They are sitting with the Muslim brothers, and they're all calling for unity all over the place. And it's a celebration galore for the Muslim brothers. And we also celebrate with you, wherever you are at the moment. So ultimately, these leaders are calling for peace. Yeah, they are calling for peace. Why the celebration is ongoing, they are calling for peace. So President Muhammad Buhari, the president-elect Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Labour Party presidential candidates Peter Obi, also Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajadamiola, amongst many others, have congratulated Muslims across the country on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Fitr, making the end of Ramadan. The fasting has been ongoing, and it's making the end of it. And there's a call for peace and unity all over the place. So we celebrate you, and as this ongoing, we also saw that the police they've been beefed up security all over the place just to ensure that there's peace and order. The criminal element does not capitalize on this celebration to attack worshippers across the country. So happy celebration. Then we'll move on. So you want to get gist of this or those congratulations this celebration, you can go to Vanguard newspaper. It's all there. Then still on this other news that is making the round. We saw the open grazing. Delta inaugurate first batch of livestock management operatives. I think the purpose for this is to ensure that the conflict between the herdsmen and the farmers is nipped in the bud and does not resort to something unwarranted. So a lot of people, a lot of governors are actually setting up this kind of system. So Delta State government on Thursday inaugurated the first batch of 45-man livestock management operatives. So this is in line with the provision of the law to regulate the open grazing in the states. So, and this open grazing, according to them, has actually resulted to a confrontation between the herdsmen and farmers. So they're looking for the best approach to this to ensure it doesn't happen again. So that is what is happening. So you want to get the gist and the details of this story, just kindly log on to Vanguard and you'll get the gist there. So, and of course, it's no longer news that the federal government is planning to uh, uh, carry out census across the country. So then a lot of people, people are saying that is it necessary at this time? Why can't you just leave this to the next government? Since the tenure of this administration is elapsing, there's a need to leave it to the next government to decide if they want to do the census or not. So the plan has been, the federal government has activated the plans to conduct nationwide populations and housing census next month. So, and of course, the last time this census was held in the country was March 2006. Yeah, 2006. So, though there's nothing bad in knowing the numbers of people in the country, but at the same time, it should be done in a time where that is accepted by all, where the burden will not be so much on the people, because the election is still not properly come to conclusion because the matters are still in court, and we don't know where the pendulum is going to sway right now. So people are saying that this should be at least be delayed for some time, pending when the whole election case is probably resolved, or the next administration should be able to look into this. So that's on the Vanguard newspaper. So go to Vanguard, you see the story there. Then, of course, there is still this story that is still making the rounds, where some group of people are protesting, demanding the Adebanjo's removal as Afenifere leaders. So a group concerned Odua defendants, named Code, yesterday protested in Ibadan, calling on Southwest governors to prevail on the leader of the Pan-Yoruba organization, Afenifere, Payo Adebanjo, to step aside as the leader of the group. And we saw the Adebanjo reacting there, saying that these people just want to divide us. They don't really have a good. They have the one the best for the Afenifere group. That these are sponsored. According to him, these are sponsored individuals who just want to capitalize on the money they have received to be making these utterances or coming up with this kind of protests. So they call them children that he doesn't want to listen to. He wouldn't be distracted by this call, of his removal. So the matter is still ongoing, but that's in the news of the Vanguard. You can just go to Vanguard newspaper and you see right there. Then the next on the line is the story of students in Sudan. Sudan crisis is gaining momentum. It's really creating a lot of tension out there, and a lot of our students, Nigerian students over there, are calling for immediate evacuation. They are calling on able, responsible people to come to their aid to evacuate them from that country, because the battle, the war between the forces and of course, the guards in that country is creating a lot of tension there. And so the National Association of Nigerian Students in Sudan has called on Nigerians in diaspora commission for a possible evacuation from Sudan. So they are calling, they are asking, please, we need to leave this place. So this was contained in statements by Gabriel Odu, Media Public Relations and Protocols Unit, yesterday in Abuja. So I think I really expect the government to be proactive. This is a war, and you don't really know anything can happen, and it's better the government should be very active on this kind of issues, not to be reactive. So they are calling for immediate evacuation. So I believe the government will quickly look into this matter and get it resolved, and possibly take them out of that place before it gets out of hand. Then there's this other story, still on the Salah message. We saw the IGP orders tight security nationwide. Yeah, so the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Kali Baba, has charged commissioners of police, CPs, and tactical commanders in all the states of the federations and the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, and their supervisory assistants, inspectors general of police, AIGs, to beef up security ahead of the Eid al-Fitr celebration. So the IG also directed that supervisories, IGs, and other respective CPs should ensure adequate deployment of officers and access to critical locations, most especially Eid prayers grounds and recreation centers, to build confidence amongst the citizens and foreign seekers. This is very important because we saw most of these elements. They're only looking for spots where they have more people gather to create havoc and all that. So the attendance call is really is timing, and it's necessary that people that are celebrating are protected, so that you don't form and enter fire. So the call has been made. So, and I believe that I think this similar call was made during the Easter celebration, where security was beefed up across the states to ensure that the celebration was peaceful and it all went well, and the celebration of Easter was perfect. And also believe that with this kind of a call and beefed up of security, peace will reign, and there won't be any story that touches. So this is a good call. So when you see a lot of policemen around your vicinity, don't be threatened. Don't be afraid. They're actually to protect you. So, and please, and also when you are sharing rights, and just remember that they also need to be rights. Okay, yeah, they are human beings. And they are doing their job. Okay, so that's on that story, still on the Vanguard newspaper. You see there. Then, of course, the election, like I mentioned earlier, is not over. Yeah, the election practically is over, but the court cases are still here and there, and reactions from every area is still on. And you saw the story, the headline in the Vanguard newspaper: INEC bogot 2023 polls. That is ADP national chairman says that. So while he was speaking yesterday in Abuja, uh, so he made that utterance that indeed INEC did not do so well in this election, looking at the budget and all that. So according to him, the beavers that was promised, the immediate transmission of results, uploading and all that was promised was not achieved. So as a result, as far as concerned, all the fault of whatever is happening right now in the election, and it boils down to INEC. So of course, like we talked about yesterday, if this whole thing was done properly from the correlation of results, the court cases will be limited. But right now we have lots of court cases, which we saw LP having more than 20 SANS trying to reclaim mandate, while the APC have more than 50 SANS, and the court is on trial presently. So people are still speaking as regard that the election wasn't credible enough. There was a lot of flaws here and there. And of course, the issue of oil revenue, and Malami pledges to honor Rep's invitation. So he's been invited, and So he said he will honor the invitation. So at last, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, Mr. Abubakar Malami San, has said he would honor the invitation of the House of Representatives to give answers to their inquiries on the whereabouts of the 48 million barrels of crude oil, amounting to over $2.4 billion crude oil exports to global destinations from 2014 to date. This is huge. So he's been invited to come and explain how where is the fund that was accrued from these sales. So you remember it was the Hard Court Committee investigating the sales and the whistleblower recovery recently threatened to arrest him and the Minister of Finance, Ms. Zainab Ahmed, for ignoring several of their invitations. So maybe because of the threat, the man had decided to honor this invitation. It's very important when if you feel your hand is clean, you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, yeah, you should be bold enough to honor invitation and answer questions. Nobody will kill you. It's just to answer questions. So he has said he will honor the invitation. So we see how that goes. It is very important that somebody should be able to answer some things when things done. When you are put in public office, you are expected to be accountable. Okay, yeah, when you're doing your expenses and all that, be accountable. Let it be transparent. When there's transparency, there'll be much questions and all that. So then, still on the now, let's move on to Punch newspaper. We saw right there that Sudan conflict as a headline. About 1,262 Nigerian students demand evacuation. 330 residents killed. So this is we talked about the story on the first. And so they are asking for evacuation, immediate evacuation, because this has become it's indeed a war zone, and a war zone, you don't even know where your attackers come from. Okay, so Nigerian students fill forms for airlifting, Uganda, Tanzania rescue nationals. So 3,200 injured as outage, food, water, scarcity hits Khartoum. Says who? So imagine no food right now. So when there is no food, of course, people in that environment will be very vulnerable to any form of attack. So the adjustment numbering over 1,262, they have appealed to the federal government to evacuate them from the Republic of Sudan, where fierce military confrontations between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary group Rapid Support Force has claimed 330 lives, with 3,200 injured already. So this is an urgent call. So if you want to get the details of that story, please log on to Punch and you will see the details of the story. Of course, we also have another story here. Federal government to remove fuel subsidy without disrupting livelihoods. So, when it comes to issue of fuel in a country, with price of fuel goes up, even the price of bread will go up also, because the transportation, uh, the moment it increases, it affects every aspect of lives. So the federal government says it's considering how best to achieve subsidy removal without disrupting livelihoods in Nigeria. So the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, uh, Gabriel Aduda, said this while briefing newsmen on Thursday at the end of the Nigeria International LNG Summit. So it's very important. This should be properly uh, considered, because previous upward review or the petrol price affected a lot of things, and price of bread that used to be like 300, 400, today is about 1,000 plus. Yeah. So he said the federal government was committed to subsidy removal, but could not be too specific until all indices were considered, to ensure that the office would not be harsh on average. Sorry, the effect would not be harsh on average Nigerians. So this is what they are considering, and I think it should properly looked into, because this is the major determinants of price of foodstuff in the market. Because when the price of fuel goes up, people, those selling foodstuff, will definitely increase, because they have to make gain for whatever they are selling. And the cost of transportation is major determinant of the price, cost of price foodstuff in the market. So, federal government consider this before they can remove the subsidy. And it is obvious that the subsidy will be removed, because all the presidential candidates, they've all spoken concerning this. Almost all the parties have this, actually make comments to this, that it will be removed. So which means a lot of people they're looking for the best way to remove it, so that it doesn't affect everyone on too much. There's one that story on consider right now. CBN dormant account policies triggers anxiety in banking sector. The CBN have urged the bank to transfer any account that has been dormant for more than 10 years and above. The money should be transferred into a particular account so that it can be utilized. That comes to the issue. If money is not infused, account can only be dormant for such a time. 10 years, any accounts, according to the CBN, any account that has not been operated for that long, the money should be transferred into a particular account. So the CBN had released an exposure draft guideline proposing that banks and other financial institutions should transfer funds in accounts that have been dormant for up to 10 years into a trust fund account. So circular signed by the Director of the Financial Policy and Regulation Department of the Apex Bank, Chibuzo Efobi, which accompanied the exposure drafts, stated that the proposed guidelines were in response to requests from banks and other stakeholders for the CBN to clarify the procedure for the management of dormant and inactive accounts by banks in the country. So that is to take place, which was dated April 6th, 2023, also called for inputs, which should be sent within 3 weeks. So this dormant, if you have an account you don't be operated for years, I think you should go and activate it quickly. Otherwise, that money will be transferred into trust fund accounts, which the CBN will be utilized for other purposes. Okay. Then moving on, still on the Punch newspaper, you will see that we talked about the building that collapsed in the Manor Island recently during the week. And now we see that Manor Island developer plan to rake in 22 billion naira in revenue. This was what they expect to get if the structure was completed. So developer of the collapsed building in Manor Island, Joe Faraday Limited, projected to rake in over 21.5 billion from customers who subscribe to the 7-story structure. So when you read through this Punch, you discover that according to an analyst of the project's market information seen by the Punch correspondent, the 7-story building, christened the Woodlands, consists of 72 units of flats. So, and the building plan comprises a cluster of 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom flat, as well as a 5 and 6 bedroom detached and semi-detached houses, making a total of 72 units. According to the data sourced from Nigeria Protect Estate Intel. So 1-bedroom apartment in the estate was priced at 80 million naira, while the 6-bedroom apartment was put out for 750 million naira. So they were expecting to get about 22 billion from such a structure. But at the moment, that is not feasible right now because the structure has collapsed. So that is still, you can see the pile of rubble in that site. So yeah, moving on to the next story. I said The Nation, and you can see in The Nation that Buhari aces Adamawa wreck, other security chiefs probe. So the supplementary election that took place in Adamawa, where REC observed the power of returning officer to declare Benani the winner, it has taken another turn. All the agencies involved has been, the president has charged a proper investigation. Like we read here, President Muhammad Buhari also directed the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the Department of State Service, DSS, and the Commandant General of the General Security and Civil Defense Corps to commence an immediate investigation into the roles played by their officers and men in the supplementary fiasco. So the controversial wreck on Sunday breached the election result coalition process by announcing the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Senator Aishatu Dahiru Benani, as the winner, thereby generating a crisis. So, investigation has been the president has ordered investigation to those actions. So then, of course, ahead of subsidy removal, federal government plans 6 months petrol stockpile. So just to question the effect of the subsidy removal. Then, of course, and we saw the um, DHQ. So May 29 inauguration of Tinubu's is sacrosanct. That's what the military are saying. So they assured Nigerians that the peace and security force during and after handover of power. The military high command said it would work with the police and intelligence community to nip in the bud any threat to national security. Of course, it's their role to ensure that there's peace in the country. So they have mapped up several. Of course, ENEC had declared Mr. Tinubu the winner of the election. So every agency had to ensure that they work towards that inauguration on that day, unless the court says otherwise. So moving on, then Otom is speaking tough. According to the presidency, places cows above Nigerian lives, says Otom. So the Benue State governor, Sam Otom, yesterday claimed the repeated attacks and killing in the state by suspected Fulani militias had the full backing and endorsement of President Muhammad Buhari-led federal government. So Otom, who accused the presidency of placing cows above human lives, alleged the Buhari administration was after him because of the anti-grazing law in the state. Of course, the killing in that state has gone unabated, and even the life of the governor was threatened some time ago. And so, according to Otom right now, it seems that cow has been placed. The life of cow is more valuable than a human in that community, because all those that are perpetrating these wicked acts have not been properly apprehended. So moving on, of course, UNICEF, Nigeria has second highest unvaccinated children, says UNICEF. So you can look into the story, go to the Sun, you get the gist of the story there. Then, of course, South Kaduna killing Sokopu urges ECOWAS, AU, UN to speak up. You see, United Nations, you see, following recent wanton killings allegedly by armed herdsmen in some communities in South Kaduna State. Residents under the office of the Southern Kaduna People's Union have all the economic and the board. So that's still a matter that is ongoing. So the killing in this area has been going on for years now, and we expect the government to quickly react to this, because it's not good news at all. Okay, so this is much. This is much. This is much we can take at the moment. So more news will come to you. This is Prime Media. Is of the for Michael, and we'll catch you next time. You have an awesome time.